Hi everyone, this is Dr. Schultz, and I'm here to share with you some of the recommended strategies for supporting emergent bilinguals in the content areas, particularly in bilingual or dual language settings. Now, we all work with students, and we may work with them at the elementary level, and we may work with them at the adolescent, middle school, and high school level, but we are all working with students who are emergent bilinguals. That means that they're becoming bilingual, they're becoming proficient in two languages. And some of the strategies that we're going to share here are recommended strategies that are used to support L1 language development while learning the L2 and learning the content area, language demands of the content area. The first strategy that I'd like to share with you is one that is recommended by Sonia Soltero in her 2016 book, Dual Language Education, Program Design and Implementation. And in the preview review structure, the teacher will start with the student's L1, their first language, and they'll provide about 5 to 6 minutes of first language support in which the content area, themes, ideas, major concepts, key ideas, key vocabulary, language objectives, and learning objectives are shared with the student in their first language. The student may have particular knowledge and background knowledge that needs to be tapped into, and we want to know how best to build upon their schema or their background knowledge of learning through ripe discussions in the L1. As the lesson progresses, the L2, or the additional language, is then used for a large portion of the lesson in a workshop model that may be about 40 minutes long. And it is that time that students are engaged in authentic and meaningful tasks in which they can use academic language, and they are supported using English or general language learning strategies like visuals and gestures and recasts and appropriate rate of speech, etc. Or they may use something like this visual here that I have presented for you. This is a KWL chart, and a KWL chart is something that teachers can use as they begin a unit and throughout a unit actually, and that's the KWL stands for what I know, K, what I want to know, W, and what I have learned, L. Okay, and in the first column, students will uh, you'll brainstorm with the students about what they already know or what they think they already know. And what I tell teachers is it's okay to record any student answers, even if they are inaccurate. They may say something like at an elementary level that they think the moon is made of cheese. Record it, okay? Because students as the unit progresses, say it's a scientific unit on astronomy, students will find out that indeed the moon is not made of cheese. And you will record that in the what I learned, the third column. Okay, what the second column includes what I want to find out, and this is an opportunity for students to set some learning goals for themselves. What do they want to find out about a particular topic? And then the last column, as I mentioned, is the what I learned, or what I learned in British English. What I learned is about your opportunity to review, okay, and compare and contrast the first column, what they already know and what they have learned. Did any of their thoughts change? Do they still think that the moon is made of cheese? Of course not. This is their opportunity to review and reflect on that. I'm going to turn it over to an expert teacher here who's going to share with you her number one teaching strategy. It is the use of total physical response, which was developed by Asher and is something that can be used in K to 12 and post 12 settings for learning language. I'll let her explain.
everyone, it is Nancy Taylor here, and you are catching number 1 of 10 videos on ESL teaching strategies. So number 1 is TPR. We start with TPR because it is very important when teaching a second language, and especially when you're working with children. What is TPR? Total physical response. It is the combination of movement and language to enhance language acquisition. It is coming from both the teacher and the student. It is not just one-sided with the teacher doing actions and the student watching. It is double-sided. The student is connecting actions to language and therefore retaining it much better than if they were to do it without the movement. TPR taps into all 3 of your learners. I know there's more learners, but the 3 we focus on: visual, your kinesthetic, and the last one is audio, so you're connecting it to the actual language. So we're targeting all 3 of those kind of learners. In these video series, the 2 focuses, what you always want to focus on, number 1 is teaching the objectives, focusing on those rather than all this extra fluff and things. Keep it simple, teach the objectives well. You don't want to cover a broad spectrum of things and just kind of graze the surface. Teach them well. And the second thing is teach to the student's understanding. If the student is not understanding because you have this blueprint that you feel like you have to follow, like the teacher directions that you're given or the lesson plan that you're given, then your student could be very frustrated or not say anything or be very confused on the other side of the lens, on the camera, or in the classroom. So be sure that you teach to the student. You adjust your instruction to this specific student, which is very great when teaching for VIP Kid because it is one-on-one. We do also have some group classes, and this whole brain teaching tactic, if you've heard of whole brain teaching, very similar to TPR. Why do we teach it? Number 2, why? To model why we use TPR, I have created my own language. You're welcome. You guys are going to die. So I am going to be showing you what it feels like to be hearing a new language. And today, it is Nancy's language. Ta-da! Bebop, la tigre, say Nancy. Humbug, say floof tigre. Did you catch that? Did you get what I said? Let's do it again. Bebop, la tigre, say Nancy. Humbug, say floof tigre. Let's put in some TPR, and this is instructional TPR. All right? Bebop. La tigre, say Nancy. Nancy. Humbug, say floof tigre. La tigre, say Ava. Good job. High five. Now you know exactly what I said because I was using instructional TPR. Number 3, how do we use TPR? There's 2 types of them. Number 1, instructional TPR. These are when I'm giving commands. Stand up, sit down. If I say, what is your name? I'm using actions, movement to go with instruction. Okay? That's the first type of TPR. The student is not expected to repeat those. One I use a lot with my beginner students, I say, you repeat. Tiger. Good job. I don't expect them to do this. A lot of them do. But this is just an action. Instead of me saying, can you repeat or will you say? I just point to my chin and say one word. Then we're keeping our language 50-50. Capiche? Okay. The second type is educational or content. So these are your vocabulary words. These are the content that you are teaching. And I expect my student to do these actions. So if I'm teaching tiger, tiger. Good job. Notice how I got my student to do it as well. I didn't just say tiger and have them repeat the audio. I said tiger and then I wanted them to do the same action. And they'll get it. You have to be consistent and persistent. Yes? Those are my tips for TPR. Very simple, to the point. Here's an example inside the classroom. Let's go. Fast. Fast. Slow. Fast. Slow. My name is Teacher Nancy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Molly, how old are you?
13 years old.
13 years old? Are you in 7th or 8th grade?
7th grade.
7th. I see. Do you have many teachers? Many?
Yes.
Thanks for joining me for video number 1 on TPR. Again, I have created these videos in case you got feedback that was specific in an area, or perhaps you wanted to fine-tune your skills in teaching ESL and you wanted to do it step by step. These short videos are a lot easier to eat than the whole elephant, so we'll take bites at a time. If you guys are not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you join. I do post 1 video a week for teaching English, and I have other videos on this channel as well that you can partake of.
And the last approach is the language experience approach. Let's share that. Okay, so I just want to pause there and just review exactly what it is and tell you a little bit of a moment about how I use the language experience approach. Language experience approach starts with the shared experience that the class or the students have together. So it could be through a field trip or maybe an experiment, something that you're doing in the classroom. You are going to have that shared experience and you're going to talk about it and you're going to use the students' own words. And as the teacher transcribes what the students are saying, they will use instructional strategies like think aloud, maybe to support the cognitive linguistic development of the students by saying, I wonder if that is the right word choice. I wonder what word I could use that might be a better word, etc. You're writing and transcribing, perhaps on an Elmo, so all students can see, and then you are recasting the students' words so they are using correct syntax that is more appropriate and more meaningful. So TPR, language experience approach, and preview and review. Those are just a few.